Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitaamritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatva Manusandadhami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshinim Namostute Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Pullaravindayata Patra Nitra Yena Tvaya Bharata Taila Purna Prajvalito Jnanamaya Pradipaha Prapanna Parijataya Totra Vetraikapanaye Jnanamudraya Krishnaya Gitamrita Duhe Namaha Sarvopanishado Gavo Dogdha Gopalanandanaha Partho Vatsas Sudhir Bhokta Dugdham Gitamritam Mahate Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Bhishmadrona Tata Jayadrata Jala Gandharani Lotpala Shalyagrahavati Kripena Vahani Karnena Vela Kula Ashvathama Vikarna Ghora Makara Duryodhana Vartini Sotirna Kalupandavairana Nadi Kaivartaka Keshavaha Parashariya Vachas Saroja Mamalam Gitartha Gandhotkatam Nana Kyanaka Kesaram Harikatha Sambodhana Bodhitam Loke Sajjana Shatpadairaharaha Pepiyamanam Muda Bhuyad Bharata Pankajam Kalimala Pradvamsina Shreyase Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stunvanti Divyaistavaihi Vedai Sangapadakramopanishadair Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavastita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yogino Yasyantam Navidusura Suragana Devaya Tasmai Namaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha. Welcome to the study of the Bhagavad Gita, the 14th chapter, which deals with the three gunas, the three predominant characteristics of every being, not only humans but also Jada, the other beings as well. So in the 5th verse, Sri Krishna talks about Sattva, Sattva, Raja, Tama, these three guna. Sattvam, Rajastama iti gunas prakriti sambhavaha nibadhanti mahabaho dehe dehinam avyayam. The three gunas of Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, born of Prakriti, bind down the immortal soul to the body in its embodied state. It's very important to note that nature is made of the three gunas. The whole of nature is made of the material, raw material out of which nature is formed are the three gunas. And this comes from Prakriti or Pradhana, whatever you may call. So that is where it comes from. So one has to become Maya Adhisha, or one must transcend the limits of this Prakriti. Now, why are these Prakriti or these three gunas created by Prakriti, by nature? It is so that the creation, preservation and destruction goes on continuously. That is why these three gunas have come to us. There will, in these sattva, rajas and tamas, all these three gunas are inherent: creation, preservation and destruction. Now, one must go beyond the creation itself. If we have to become one with Brahman, one with reality, then one have to exceed, or one will have to go beyond these three gunas. So that very famous story of Sri Ramakrishna is extremely illustrative of this. A man was going from one village to the other. He had gone to the neighboring village and he had got some groceries as well as some money, etc. And he was coming back, and in order to avoid the long circuitous route, it was also getting dark. In order to avoid the long road, he thought of taking the shortcut. And the shortcut went through a forest or a jungle. And in that jungle or that forest was invaded by these three robbers. So when they found this man returning loaded with all the items, etc., so they accosted him, and one of them said, "Well, let us rob him of everything, and let us kill him over here." So the second one was a little more considerate. The first one and the second one were more considerate. And they said, "Well, why should we kill him unnecessarily? Why should we have blood on our hands? So let us just rob him of everything that he has, and let us tie him to this tree, and let us escape the limits of the police station, of this police station." So they tied him likewise, beat him up and said, "Do not reveal our identities to anybody." So he went, all the three of them, they robbed him of everything and then went away. And then after some time, the first one, a very mild person, he comes back and then unties the man and then applies some balm to his wounds and says, "I am very sorry that we had to rob you of everything, but that is our only means of livelihood, robbing of people and then thieving. So now go home. I will give you a little bit money also. Let me my portion of the of the theft. I will give it to you." So he gives him some money and then says, "Go to your house." So the man was very grateful to him. Said, "This man has saved me," and therefore he says, "All right, you have been very kind, but I do not know the path. It is very dark. I don't have a torch with me also. You have robbed me of the torch also. So show me the way. Can you show me the way?" So Sattva says, "Of course." This man, the first one, says, "All right, I will show you the way." And he leads him to the edge of the forest and says, "Up there, can you see some lights shining? Yes, that is your village. Just follow the path, the lights, and you will reach there." So the man becomes very grateful, and then he says, You are so very kind. Can you please come to my home, stay with me for the night, accept my hospitality, we will feed you very well, and in the morning you can go your way." But Sattva says, No, we cannot do that, because if I go there, I will get caught. So saying this, that Sattva is also an obstruction or a robber, so to say. It robs us of the real experience of the divine. Having said that, we should at least achieve to the state of Sattva in our life. That is the idea. Sattvam rajas tamaiti guna prakriti nibadnanti. They bind us. See, Swami Vivekananda says, nature should be your slave, not you the slave of nature. which we are generally. We are slaves of nature. So we are colored by the glasses that we wear, that type of, if we wear green colored glasses, then we will see things as green. If we color it with yellow, we'll see everything as yellow. Sri Ramakrishna again says, a person who has got jaundice, he sees everything as yellow, but it is not so. So that is why he says that one must overcome the force of the rajas and tamas, and then graduate to sattva, and then from sattva then one can go forward, or one can even give up that joy also and go forward. So in the next verse, the 6th verse, he describes the nature of sattva. Tatra sattvam nirmalatvat prakashakamanāmayam sukha sangena badhnāti jnana sangena chānaga. Tatra sattvam nirmalatvat. Among these, he describes the nature of sattva. Among these, sattva is luminous. That is that which is shining. And it is also harmonious. Nirmalatvat prakashakam anamayam. It is harmonious due to its essential purity. It binds the soul, O sinless one, with the feeling, I am happy, I am full of knowledge. See, how does it bind us? Nirmalatvat. While it is pure, while sattva is transparent, you can see the divine on the other side, but you are not able to go and touch the divine. That is the nature of sattva, because it has put a glass barrier or a glass wall between ourselves and the divine, so that we cannot go forward and become one with the divine. So sattva reveals everything. There is no doubt about that. It reveals everything, but it is still not the ultimate goal to be achieved. Being a goody-goody person is no good. One must have strength. One must have purity. Of course, purity comes with sattva, no doubt. But one must also have the grit and the determination. Yes, I will break the glass wall. I will go and merge with my maker. That determination must be there. So, but once you have sattva, you will experience joy. Sri Ramakrishna says, Vishayananda and Bhajanananda. These two names he says. Vishayananda is the joy that we experience from the pleasures of the world, from the body, from the mind, whatever we have. And then downstairs. So Bhajanananda is the joy that one feels while taking the name of the Lord. If we are not a sattvic, then we do not feel the joy of chanting the name of the Lord. We do not feel the joy at all. So that sattva only brings in the joy, and one must try to get this. See, one must exceed or transcend this. See, in the life of Sri Ramakrishna, we find this wonderful example. Sri Ramakrishna was devoted to his ideal. First of all, he had the vision of Mother Kali, and later he had the vision of Sri Rama, and later he had the vision of Sri Krishna also, and he also had tantric experiences, and then he also had ultimately he had Sufi experiences also. He also had the vision of Christ, Jesus the Christ, and ultimately he had the ultimate experience of samadhi. But before going to, or before becoming an Advaitin, that means before entering into that state of Nirvikalpa Samadhi, Sri Ramakrishna was very much at home with his divine ideal, that is the Divine Mother. For Sri Ramakrishna, the mother was, the Divine Mother Kali was a living entity. So he used to talk to her, he used to feed her, and he used to take the food to her mouth and say, okay, you want me to eat? Let me eat, and then I will give it to you. That's how he had that. And anything that he wanted, he asked her permission or her advice in doing anything. So he had that intense relationship with the Divine Mother. So when he became a disciple of Totapuri, his Advaitin Guru, the Advaitin Guru taught him about Vedanta and then said, look, you cannot become a real Advaitin till you renounce everything, that till you become a sannyasi. That is the traditional method that Sri Shankaracharya has spoken of in the scriptures. So he said, all right, I am prepared, but I will have to ask my mother's permission. Divine Mother, of course, said that yes, you can become, but then his earthly mother was also living there. So he was very much afraid of asking her, because if he asked her permission, she will not give him permission, no doubt about that. But yet, there was this burning desire for him to become an all-renouncing monk. So he made an agreement with Totapuri, look here, I will give up my sacred thread and all other paraphernalia which identifies myself as a Brahmin and so on and so forth, but I cannot wear the orange robes, because my mother then would feel very sad. She is in her last days and she will feel very hurt. So I cannot do that. So Totapuri said, that doesn't matter, you did not wear, you can wear your white clothes, no doubt about that, but I will make you go through the disciplines of becoming a monk. So he made him go through all the disciplines, spiritual disciplines, as well as the ritualistic worship and other things. And at the end, he initiated him into sannyasa. Then after the sannyasa, one is given the Aham Brahmasmi Mahavakyas and others. So then you become Brahman yourself. So then he said, I am giving you this Mahavakya and Aham Brahmasmi, etc. And then you will now have to meditate upon yourself as Brahman and achieve that state of Nirvikalpa Samadhi, without any attributes, without any names, without any forms. Said, all right, I will. So he lit a sacrificial fire, Dhuni, and both of them sat around it. And he said, now, he guided him step by step. Take your mind to the Anahata Chakra, and then to the Vishuddha Chakra, then to the Ajna Chakra, and then to the Sahasrara. And now merge your identity with Brahman. That means you are not a being anymore, an embodied being anymore. Merge yourself with Brahman. And do not entertain any thoughts of names and forms. But when Sri Ramakrishna kept on trying, as soon as his mind would rise to the Ajna Chakra, between the eyebrows, he would see the effulgent form of the Divine Mother. He would start talking to her. And this happened several times. His mind, he could not raise his mind beyond that. So Totapuri observed this and he said, "What? You cannot think of the absolute Brahman?" Okay. So he searched and he found a glass piece there. Somebody had broken a bottle and there was a glass piece. And then he took it and then thrust it between his eyebrows, and it created tremendous pain. And then he says, "Think that you are now cutting the form of the Divine Mother, and you are, as soon as the form of the Divine Mother comes before your eyes, think that you have been, you are cutting the form of the Divine Mother, and you enter into that highest state." Sri Ramakrishna was an obedient person to his. Whoever said anything to him, he would trust them 100%. Such simplicity was there. So as soon as that happened, he said, as soon as the form of the Divine Mother came before him, he concentrated upon the pain in his eyebrows, and then he cut off the form of the Divine Mother with the sword of jnana or knowledge or discrimination, and then immediately his mind merged into the Absolute. His breathing stopped, his pulses stopped, heartbeat stopped. He was in that state for 3 days. 3 days in that one place. And Totapuri was astonished. He said, "It took me 40 years of sadhana to achieve to this state of Nirvikalpa Samadhi. And here, this young fellow has achieved this in such a short period of time." And of course, after 3 days and all that, when his mind was not coming down, there are certain procedures in order to bring a person's mind back to the body. And then he uttered some mantras and all that, stroke his body, and slowly his mind came down to the normal consciousness. That is to say, Sri Ramakrishna's sattva was absolute. He had full sattva. But that sattva, that is enjoying the presence of the Divine, enjoying the name and glories of the Divine Mother, was a hindrance to achieving to the highest Samadhi. Later we see in the life of Sri Ramakrishna that as soon as the name of and glories of God would be uttered, his mind would enter immediately into that Samadhi. So his enjoyment of the name and glories of God was only momentary, temporary. He definitely loved it, no doubt about it, but his mind would immediately get absorbed into the highest state of spiritual illumination. So that is what he says, Tatra Sattvam Nirmala. Bhajanananda is good. One can go beyond the Vishayananda, the experiences of the body and mind, and then one should go up to Bhajanananda, and from Bhajanananda one should get into Brahmananda, the joy of being with Brahman. So Sattva is definitely good. We should all aim to get or to retain this sattvic nature in our day-to-day life. That is why Sri Krishna is talking about it. He is not talking, he talks later about going beyond the sattva, rajas and tamas, no doubt. But he also says that it is good for you to have this sattvic nature in your day-to-day life, in our everyday life. That is what he says. Tatra sattvam nirmalatvat. It is of the nature of, it is luminous and harmonious due to its essential purity. Then he says, Rajo ragatmakam viddhi trishna sanga samudbhavam tan nibhadnati kaunteya karma sangena dehinam. Know rajas to be passion-based and productive of longings for unattained objects and attachment for those in one's possession. It binds the actionless soul, O son of Kunti, by entangling it in action through the feeling, I am the doer. See, it says, O Arjuna, understand this, vidhi, that rajas is ragatmaka. What is raga? Raga means intense attachment. Something without which I cannot have fulfillment. That is that kind of thing. As opposed to that, viraga or vairagya. Vairagya is the sense that yes, I am able to give up that which I think is very enjoyable. Just for example, if a person who has been smoking for some time, it is a very common example, if a person has got addicted to smoking for a very long period of time, and then suddenly the doctor examines him and says, "No, I can see that you have got some patches in your chest. You should immediately stop it. Otherwise, this will take your life." So a person who has been addicted to this smoking, if after knowing that this is going to be extremely harmful to me, would he or she not make an effort, even an effort, to give it up? In most cases they don't make an effort, that is why. But if they make an effort, they will be able to give it up slowly by slowly. Of course, nowadays doctors prescribe certain things in order for them to get out of the tobacco habit and then get into some other habit, and then that also they will take away after some time. But if I know that this, what is very enjoyable to me, is going to be harmful to me, would I not give it up? That is what he says, ragatmakam vidhi. So vairagya is that which will make you, or which will force you to give up that which is very enjoyable, that which is very pleasurable to you. That is ragatmakam vidhi. Raga means that which to which you get attached. And then what does it rajas do? Rajas creates desires. It creates desires. It is the very ingredient with which the desires are created. Rajas. So it is the root. We should concentrate, or we should try to focus on the root, not the branches. You can cut off the branches, but if the root is very strong, then it will always come back. The desire must be completely, the root of desire must be completely uprooted or pulled out. So Rajas creates these desires and attachments, and it is looking, what does Rajas do? It always looks for happiness outside. Not from within one's own self, but it tries to look for the joy or pleasure from outside. So he says, Rajo ragatmakam vidhi trishna sanga samudbhavam. Trishna means thirst. Thirst. It is the fire that is burning within, as it were. And it must be quenched. It must be got rid of. But this is very difficult. We try to quench it with some other desire, and then the fire keeps on burning much more. See, that is what that king, he decided that he will enjoy more and more and more and more. At last he comes to that conclusion that na jatu kama kamanam upabhogena shamyati havisha krishnavartmeva bhuya evabhi vardhate. Kamaha kamanam, that is, desire cannot be quenched by another desire. Upabhogena shamyati, it cannot be quenched, it cannot be put off. Havisha, he gives an example. Havisha krishnavartmeva. If a fire is burning, you bring in some more ghee and add to it. What will it do? It will burn more and more. So desires are like that. One goes, another comes, one and the other. Everything is cyclic, so to say. The desire is cyclic. We cannot. Narada very clearly says in the Bhakti Sutra, Tarangayite api ime samudrayante. It may start as a small bubble, but then slowly it develops into a wave. And then it becomes the ocean itself, so to say. So desires are like that. So Trishna, Sangha, Samudbhavam. Money, wealth, positions, everything. All this cannot be satiated completely at all. So where does it come from? He says, Trishna, Sangha, Samudbhavam. It is that which comes with bondage. It comes along with bondage. Trishna means this thirst. It comes along with another ingredient called the bondage. Bondage to Vishaya, the senses or the objects of the senses. By itself the senses are noble. Only when it sees the objects, then it gets attracted towards it. And then what we do is, after getting the object that we desire, we try to possess it. We try to have ownership upon it, don't we? We all of us, we want to have ownership over it, and we will not be able to share it with the others. Rather, we become so possessive that we do not want anyone to touch it or not even have a look of it. We want to protect it. How long can you protect it? The more you protect it, the older it will become. Whatever you try to protect, the older it will become. Recently we had the demonetization in India. See, people had lots and lots of money, 2,000 rupee notes and all that. And then the Prime Minister of India said, no, we will have to demonetize it. And immediately all those people, I heard last time when I went to India, I heard that people were taking car loads of money and then taking it to the temples and then dumping it into the hundi. Because they know they were giving it to their servants or workers to go and change the money. But how much can they change? They cannot change much. So then at last they had to go and they would dump it in the hundi. So it is never yours. So money also cannot stay the same for all the time. It will always change. Krishna Sangha Samudbhavam. And then Tan Nibadnati Bhaunte Kaunteya Rajoragatmakam Vidhi Krishna Sangha Samudbhavam Tan Nibadnati Kaunteya Karma Sangena. When a person has Trishna, when a person has this thirst after something, one cannot keep quiet. See, one cannot keep quiet. He keeps on engaging in some action or the other. Sri Ramakrishna, so there was this very wealthy person called Jadu Malik. He was a wealthy person, and then he kept on, earning more and more and more of money and doing good works, of course. Then Sri Ramakrishna asked him, well, Shambhu Malik, his name was Shambhu Malik. Shambhu, if God comes before you and asks you what you want, what will you ask? So he said, I will ask God for more and more of wealth so that I can do good works, like building houses for the poor, building the roads and all that. Sri Ramakrishna said, no, my dear, when God comes before you, you will not ask of all of these things. You will only ask, you should ideally ask only for his vision so that you can be with him all the time. That is all that you will ask of him. So, karma sangena, when a person has Trishna, he cannot keep quiet. Sri Ramakrishna, funnily, he used to give an example. A person once went from Kolkata, he was very, he got vairagya, he got the sense of renunciation because he was not getting a good job. That was the main thing. He was not getting a good job, so he says, I will go to Kashi. I will become a monk over there. So he took a train, goes to Varanasi or Kashi, and there, after a few days of living with the monks, he found that it is not his path. He cannot tolerate all, he cannot bear that. So he found a job in some business, and then he wrote back home, I have found a good job over here, do not worry about me. So saying this, Sri Ramakrishna says, that is how it is. This raga, that means this trishna, this thirst after money, wealth, or possessions, etc. It will keep on. Swadharma, you see, our real swadharma is to become one with the divine. That is our swadharma. All this that we do in our life, that is looking after our family, growing a family and all of this, must become subsidiary to our real swadharma. Do I make any sense after that? It must become subsidiary. It should not become your only goal, for example. I just give an example without pointing a finger at anybody at all. Sometimes, especially in the Indian community, what you do, you marry of your children, thinking that they will become, independent, and that you can spend your time as you want to spend. But after some time, what do? You become slaves of your children's family. You will do everything for them, take them to the school, bring them back from the school, give them the food and everything. Because that trishna, that desire in you to possess them. The main thing is possession. They are mine. We never think, or we should think ideally, that these things that have come to me, or I am only a protector. That swadharma is to look after rakshishya. That means just to protect what has been given to you with care and love, and then give it back to the divine. All right, you now look after yourself, them. Now let me retire and let me look after my goal of life, that is realization of the ultimate. Yes, once again I will repeat. Our swadharma is to become one with the divine, is our real swadharma.
But the nature, like bhava, they say. Bhava. Like if your nature is of that person, like the example that you gave a little while ago of that shampoo.
Malik, yeah.
Now his nature is like business.
Yeah, correct.
How can you change that nature?
Yeah. No, that is where you should develop, you should think of the temporary nature of what you are doing. See? You should know that yes, while you are serving the devotees of the Lord, that is not the end all of everything. Are you able to see the divine in the persons that you are serving? We don't. If I am able to see the divine in that, then I will not. If the person, for example, whom you are serving, if the person retaliates against you, what will you do? You will become frustrated with such a person. And instead of being a worship, it will become hatred towards that person, right? So that is why Karma Yoga is difficult in that sense. It is very difficult. You will be doing some action, and if the person who is accepting the service becomes antagonistic to you, you become very upset. See, I spent so much of money, I spent so much of time for this person, and the person does not respect me, does not recognize me. See, that desire for name, fame and recognition is very much there in all of us. That is why, if I am really attached to God, if my goal is very, very clear, then what should I do? I do my part, I do my service and offer it to the Lord and say, you look after them. It is no more my responsibility. Give it.
Swami, sometimes, I feel anything that happens is a blessing only. Even the worst things also sometimes are.
Exactly. You know, that you have raised a very, very important point over there. Sometimes the negativities happen in our life for a reason. If I do not know what is on the other side of the fence, I would not know the full extent of the whole thing, full extent. So therefore, both positives and negatives, they are teachers in our life. But one must grow beyond the positivity and negativity also. That is what Sri Krishna. We go beyond that, beyond knowledge. Sri Ramakrishna says, Sri Krishna says to Arjuna that you must go beyond, to Sri Rama. Rama is told by Rishi Bharadwaja, he said you must go beyond ignorance and knowledge also. You must go beyond knowledge and ignorance. So that is what one should do. We shall stop here. Om Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam Padmanabham Suresham Vishwadharam Gaganasadrisham Meghavarnam Shubhangam Lakshmikantam Kamalanayanam Yogiradhyanagamyam Vande Vishnum Bhavabhayaharam Sarvalokaikanatham. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om.